It is Monday, February 2nd, and I am headed into Domino's. My shift is from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. tonight, and so I'm going to keep you posted on how much I make. Well, it started off pretty slow tonight. I was in the store for a little bit under an hour, so it is almost 6 p.m. right now. During that time, I did one carryout order where the guy tipped me $4. So that really helped since I didn't have any deliveries. There are, I think, 5 drivers working tonight. Some of those will go home maybe around halfway through my shift, so the night could pick up then. But yeah, so I have my first delivery with me, and we're gonna head to do that right now. Okay, first delivery of the night was very good. It was like a $54 order, and they left us a $7.90 tip on the card, which is excellent. But then when I took it to the door, the lady thanked me, and she went and got some extra cash, and she gave me $3 extra. So that was a $10.90 tip for our very first order. It was a 2-minute drive away from the store. It is around 6:05 now, and I'm back at the store, and I'll check in with you later. That is a wonderful way to begin this shift. It's definitely a slow night. I was in the store for almost an hour again. It is 6:50, and I just got my second delivery of the night. Thankfully, we were tipped really well on that first delivery, and hopefully that's going to offset what's going on with this slow night. So off to the second delivery. This is a pretty big order. I think it's a $40-something order. Okay, we just dropped off our second delivery of the night. I spent way too much time walking around that apartment trying to find it. The numbers were all out of order, but thankfully I was able to call the customer, and she said everybody gets confused in this complex, so she helped me find their number and get their delivery to them. I haven't closed out the order yet, so I don't know what we made in tips. I don't like to look at the receipt. You can look at the receipt before you take a delivery, and you can know how much they tip you if they're leaving a tip on their card. I don't like to do that. I like the surprise of it. I like to close out the order when I'm done with it and then know how much I made. It can be kind of demotivating if you look and see that you didn't get tipped ahead of time, and then you have a 10-minute drive to just kind of wallow in the misery of not being tipped. So I don't like to do that. I like to be surprised by it. So we're going to see how we did, and you'll see my reaction shot in just a moment. Okay. $6.05 tip on our second order of the night. I will take that. That is not half bad. I tell you what, I think we're sitting at about $20 in tips for only 3 transactions tonight, because we got $10.90 from our first delivery. But before that, we had a $4 tip from a customer inside the store, which was awesome. Really sweet guy. And then this last delivery, they gave us $6.05. So we're a little over $20 in tips, and we're only 2 hours in. It is 7:05 right now. So this night is cooking, I gotta say. I'm not too displeased. It's turning into an okay night, even though it's been extremely slow. If all we take home tonight is $20 in tips, that won't be the end of the world, but hopefully it picks up over the next 2 hours of my shift, and we're able to make it from an okay night to a good night. Stick with me. I'm back at the store, and I see a good sight that there are no drivers in the little side parking area, and I think there was a delivery on the top rack, so I'm gonna go grab that delivery and be back to you. Okay, I just left the store, and I have with me our third delivery of the night. This is about an 8-minute drive. It is 7:08 right now. So it is starting to pick up tonight, by the way. When I pulled up to the store, there were 3 deliveries on the top rack, and I think there was another one coming out of the oven, and there were no drivers in the store. So I just took the first delivery that was available. I didn't ask about a double. They tend to not want us to take doubles. They want to share, they want the drivers to share the wealth, so to speak, and to distribute the deliveries as evenly as possible. Last night was kind of the exception to that because there were 2 drivers, just me and another guy in the store, and so we were having to take doubles, which is a great night. If you're taking a bunch of doubles, that's a good night, unless you get stiffed like we did on a couple of those orders last night. That was not very fun. But I'm taking this order. This is a 12-inch New York style pizza, which is just, I think what they do is they take a small crust for the 12-inch. They take one size smaller crust than it calls for, so a small crust, and they stretch it thin to be a medium. So it thins it out like a New York style pizza. And the only other difference is that we cut it into 6 slices and we don't put any garlic oil on the crust. So if you're getting a New York style pizza, in my opinion, you should still ask for the garlic oil on the crust, because that's what makes the crust taste good. But some people don't like that, I guess, and they want their nice thin New York style, no garlicky crust. You crazy people. So I am now just about 5 minutes away from our delivery in a neighboring town here, and yeah, I'll check back in with you when we deliver and let you know what we made tip wise. We just dropped off our 3rd delivery of the night, and I have not yet closed out the order, so I don't know what I made in tips, but we're about to do that, and you're gonna see my reaction to my tip. Wouldn't you like to see that? Okay, give me a second. Okay, you know what? Not bad. 8-minute drive there, and then 8-minute drive back. $4.41 tip. That is not bad at all. That brings our total tonight in tips to, I think, around like $25, something like that. So we're good. This is, it's almost 7:20. It's, let's see, 7:17 right now. Sorry, it took me a minute to read my clock because it's like 4 or 5 minutes fast. But yeah, we're doing good. This is not a bad night so far. So I've got a little bit of a drive back to the store, and I thought I would just talk with you about driving delivery for Domino's. And if you're watching this, you're probably interested in doing that, I would think. It'd be odd to click on this video unless you were kind of interested in driving delivery. I did DoorDash for like a couple of months and was not making a ton of money. And granted, I wasn't working the dinner shift, so that's probably why. I was doing like breakfast and lunch and just trying to fit in, shifts where I could on DoorDash. And I just, the pace of it was weird, just like sitting in your car waiting for deliveries and going to hot spots, and then, after you deliver, it takes you far away from the hot spot you were at, and then you drop to another hot spot, and so that can take you further and further away from your house. And I don't know, I probably didn't do it enough to get really good at it and to kind of find my groove with it. But while I was delivering for DoorDash, I started just looking around online and looking at Reddit and, on YouTube at people who were delivering. And consistently, what I was hearing is that the better driving gig would be to work for pizza delivery and to do something like Domino's. And so I went ahead and went on Indeed and found that our local Domino's was hiring. It's very close to my house. And I clicked, I'm interested. I didn't even fill out an application, but, within a couple of days, the manager at that Domino's called me and said, hey, would you like to come in for an interview? Or she may have texted. I think she texted, said, would you like to come in for an interview? And I went ahead and did that. So they were in great need of people because like I said, I didn't even apply. I just said I'm kind of interested in this, and from that it was like she reached out and was like, yeah, come do this. And then I got hired very quickly, went through training within like a week, and I was up and going with Domino's. Who would I recommend to drive for Domino's? If you are looking for a part-time job and you don't mind working in the evenings, 4 or 5 hours in the evenings, and you're okay with some nights being less consistent than others, this is not going to be just, always making the same amount per hour. That, I think that's obvious, but I will say consistently, when I came in to apply for Domino's, they had written on a chalkboard that drivers make between $16 and $25 per hour. And I will say for the shifts that I work, that is consistently true. I make somewhere between $16 and like $22 per hour on average. And lately it's been probably closer to the lower figure. I would say I probably average around $18 an hour to $19, something like that. But I think that's also after tax, though. I think that's when tax is taken out is how I've been calculating that, because I keep my numbers I'm pretty meticulous about keeping them. But anyway, if you're looking for a part-time job and you don't mind working evenings and you're okay with it being a little inconsistent, but with, you can expect to make between $16 and $22 an hour, I would say definitely go for it. As a little part-time gig, it's very good. Especially for like a student or somebody who's going to college and doesn't mind working nights. I think it's a fun and pretty easy gig. And if you have a local Domino's that stays busy, you can do really, really well and, support your college and help pay for your college and all of that. I think it would be excellent. We do have some older individuals who work at our location and have been doing it for 15, 20 years, and it's a good income for somebody who may be retired from a full-time job and still needs a little bit of part-time income. I would not recommend you work at Domino's if you are looking for a full-time job that is very steady and consistent, because I think full-time would be difficult. I think it would be difficult to make a livable wage, probably working like the breakfast and lunch hours, like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I know some of our drivers kind of struggle to do well on that shift, but if you can work evenings and don't mind that, you can do great, and I would recommend it. I'm back at the store. There are 2 other drivers here, so we'll see if there are any deliveries waiting for us. I will check back in with you. Wow, okay. I got back to the store and it was all of a sudden super busy. The ovens were just overrun with pizzas, and it was all deliveries. There were like 8 deliveries, and there were 2 drivers in store, but they were already routed. And so I had to sit there. It's 7:40 now, and so I spent a while just working the ovens and getting stuff out. I've got a double with me. All the drivers were taking doubles, so this could be very, very good for us. I'll keep you posted on the first leg of the double and then check back in later. Guys, wow. Okay, that was the first part of our double order. That was a new customer, which always makes me nervous. But it was like an $80-something order. I can't remember the full amount. They tipped us $10. That was awesome. But yeah, I'm always nervous about new customers because some of them just don't realize, they don't realize that the $4.99 delivery fee doesn't go to the driver, and they think that's the tip, and it's not. That all goes to the company. So, man, we got a $10 tip. That is so good. Let's keep it rolling for the second part of the double. Let's see what we do. Thanks for sticking with me. We've got just, that was only a 5-minute drive from our store, and now we have another 4-minute drive to our second part of the double. So we'll be right there in just a few minutes. Well, that was weird and unfortunate. I pulled up to the house, and it was a super sweet family. I was talking, like, they were all kind of outside hanging out, and one of the kids was playing basketball. And I was talking to the dad in the family, and he was like, hey, you work with my son. And I was like, really? And, you know, I asked what his name was, and I knew the guy he was talking about. And so, yeah, his son works at our location. His son didn't seem to be home at the time. But he was like, yeah, how's he doing over there? And I said, he's doing good, and he gets along with everybody, and we're having a good, you know, he and I were having a good conversation about it, and everybody was super sweet. And like, while we were talking, one of his kids came over and dunked the basketball, and it like bounced off of my hood. And the dad was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's no big deal. Like, I already have some dents and stuff on my hood. And he was like, are you sure, man? I'm really sorry. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. But I was having a great conversation with them and everything. And then I went and closed out the order, and they stiffed me. This guy whose son works at Domino's stiffed me on the order. It is 7:55, and I am almost back to the store. And I've talked about this before, but what we always want to see when we get back to the store, and what I'm expecting to see because of how busy it was when I left, is you want to pull in and not see any drivers in the parking spots where the drivers park, little side strip next to the store. So you want to see no drivers there, which means they're all out, and you want to see orders on the top rack, or, you know, next down top rack, which is the delivery rack. And if you see those two things, then that means you're going to be out of the store quickly with another delivery. That's what we want. That's what we're hoping for. I am almost back, and you will see my reaction to what we find when we get back. Oh, this is an empty side strip. Okay, let's see if the second part is also true. And there are deliveries. All right, we are in for a good next few minutes. All right, we got our delivery with us. It's only a 2-minute drive, so that's good. It's one pizza. I also snagged a little extra pizza in there that was on the very top rack, which means it was a mess up. So we're taking dinner home tonight. I'm supposed to be on keto. I'm not supposed to be eating pizza, but that don't matter tonight. I'm gonna. Just dropped off that delivery. Super nice guy, apartment, and he met me outside. So we're about to close out the order and see how we did. Now I'm going to go over to my Domino's app. I'm going to close out the order. It's going to tell me what tip I made. Like I said, I never look at the receipts beforehand, so I don't know until I close out the order how much they tip me on a credit card order. So I will react the next time you see me. He stiffed us. Super nice guy, and he stiffed us. That's our second stiff of the night. Man, I'm thankful that we had a couple of orders where they just tipped us really well. Otherwise, this could be like detrimental to the shift. So let's head back to the store and hope that there are still deliveries waiting for us. Bummer. There's a very distracted driver in front of me who keeps almost running red lights and almost hitting people. So I'm keeping my distance from that guy. Probably a cell phone looker, just looking at the cell phone while you're driving. No regard for others. None whatsoever. It is 8:33 now, and I've been in the store for a little while helping customers, and they were like washing pans and things like that. So This is probably going to be the last order of the night, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, just dropped off what is probably the last delivery of the night, and it was a very interesting one. I played a dangerous game, and I'm going to tell you about that game. The total was $43.03. I took the order to the door. This guy was stoned. I could tell from the way he answered the door, from how long it took him to answer the door. And I handed him his pizza and I said, your total is $43.03. He pulled out this cash right here and handed it to me. I have not looked at the cash yet. I saw that there were like 4 or 5 bills, and they didn't look like ones. It was very dark and he didn't have a porch light. And so I said, you know what? I think that he paid me enough. But when he pulled out the cash, he didn't even count it. He just kind of looked at it confusedly and then handed it to me. So he handed me the cash and I thought, you know, there's a lot here. I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to make a point to count it in front of him. So what I'm going to do is get back to our store and I'm going to count the money with you. And we're going to see how much he gave me on a $43.03 order. So let's just ride here for a minute because we're about 1 minute from the store, and then I'm gonna park and we're gonna count our cash. All the drivers are back at this point, so that's definitely gonna be our last order of the night. Right now it's 8:47, and we're gonna count this cash here. So here's what we got. We got 5, we've got 6, and then we have 2 20s. That is 46, so he left us a $3 tip. You know what? I'll take it. We didn't get stiffed on our last order. That is a blessing, and yeah, we're probably about to call it a night unless there's just by some chance, you know, over the next few minutes it gets really busy and I get assigned one last order. That's probably it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my topper off of the car and head back into the store. See you in a few minutes to do our final tally. I just clocked out and turned over my cash to the manager, and I will go through my numbers with you. So in credit card tips, I made $30.36. In cash tips, I made $11. And in mileage reimbursement, I made $12. Not the most epic night in the world, but then we add our hourly on top of that. We worked for 4 hours, and I think about an hour and a half of that was in store. For in store, you get $7.50, and for on the road, you get $4.50. So I'm gonna estimate that's gonna be about $22 in hourly wage. So that brings us to an estimate of, if my math is right, let's see, somewhere around $75 tonight for a 4-hour shift. And again, I'm gonna try and do math here, but that's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $18.75, maybe $19 per hour before tax is deducted. That ain't bad. That's not too shabby for a Monday night. I'll take it, folks. Thank you for riding along with me, and yeah, I hope to do more of these. This has been fun, and it kind of helps me keep track of things and helps me pass the time talking to the camera. So I'll see you next time.